Hello and happy it's the days, teach you folks. Hope you guys are having an amazing day today, and this day is finding you as one of the best possible. So today on Saturday, I like to do reviews of older movie and TV serials, and that sort of thing too. For you folks that were heavily involved with things, and that's sort of a thing, but we have sort of forgotten about it. They definitely sort of sold out theaters, brought people in, that sort of a thing too. So today we're doing Captain of Midnight for you folks. Captain of Midnight is actually the name of a YouTube channel of somebody who does like TV and film criticism. So I thought it would be fun for me to knock it out for you folks and see what I thought of. This is from 1942. It's by Universal. It's got 15 chapters at 4 hours and a half exactly. So it stars Dave O'Brien as Captain Albright, who is actually super secretly Captain Midnight. He's a pilot. His captain part is a pilot part, not a military pilot captain or like a police captain. He also stars Dorothy Short as Joyce Edwards and James Craven as Ivan Sharp, the big bad. And then it also stars Stam Edwards as Chuck Ramsey, Guy Holgerson as a couple of Icky Bud, probably like 7 or 8 other people that are all in the main cast lines. They're all involved in major plots, that sort of thing too. It's directed by just one person, and that's James W. Horn for you folks. And then written by a few, Basil Dickey, George Plimpton, Wyndham Gittins. I love that name, Wyndham Gittins. It sounds so British. And Jack Stanley for you folks. And then there are many cliffhanger reducers, just a heads up, and this is based on the radio show. Alright, so the plot here is basically simple. The things you find out in the first episode for you is that the big bad shark is taking over. He is using aerial bomb rays to destroy our infrastructure, sort of a thing. They can't figure out what's happening. And that sort of thing too, together with his bad guys that he's leading with his group of folks and his daughter too. And his daughter's name is Fury. And then, so they put together, so Midnight is leading the charge as a super agent and a good guy. And he's also just regularly leading a troop of people to take out the bad guys and that sort of thing too. Right, so sometimes Captain Midnight here uses guns, and sometimes he doesn't when the plot needs to just, like there are times when he's coming along and says, oh, he doesn't have a gun, right? Because the plot needs it. And other times he's like, oh, I got it, surprise. Rather than just using a bad guy's gun, surprise. And that's sort of the thing, too, just a heads up. All right, so he does walk away from a plane crash once. That's not good. And they regularly lie to capture people, bad guys, and get them just to talk. And that's they'll tell total lies, total fabrications, and then they'll be, oh, I can't let that happen, so I'm going to talk, right? Just a heads up. No lying option either. So it's longer, like I said earlier, 15 chapters. In 4.5 hours. So the pacing can be a little rough at times, just a heads up, but the combat's great. There's no clip show, which I adore here too, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for you folks. Alright, but there you are. Have you read it? Have you seen Captain Midnight? And that sort of thing too? Or the radio play it's based on? Just let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. As a reminder, I'm not a film critic, right? None of that stuff. I didn't go to film school. I don't make films for a living, right? None of that stuff. So you can check out what your thoughts are and let me know what your thoughts are, because I'm not coming from a place of criticism of expertise, right? And then also, like I mentioned before, these things really sold seats, right? Today, we sort of have changed how we go to movie theaters. Today, you would typically just go for one film and then see a few trailers before it are really long and probably take like a lot of time. And then you would leave. And that sort of thing too, and you get a lot of your stuff from the concessions. But basically what would happen back then in the pulp era when this stuff was getting released in 42, and these were at their heights, you would probably go for like a half a day, see 2 films, an A picture, a B picture, a couple serials. You would start off with some shorts. These shorts typically weren't trailers. They might have the occasional trailer, but they'd be much more. And they would only be for like major places because it's pretty pricey. And then the other shorts that you would see would be things, shorter cartoons like Steamboat Willie from Disney that introduced Mickey Mouse, or things like newsreels too. And then Those were typically how you would get your stuff done. And then you would go there with your friends, your family, your co-workers, your classmates, your college, your church, all that stuff. Everybody would go together, and they'd be there for like a half a day, see a couple of shorts of the EA picture, then a couple of shorts, and then the cereal, and then head to concession to talk about that stuff. And then they weren't talking about the A picture. Usually they were talking about the cereal one. And then in the second half of that, they would be talking about the couple more shorts and a very short B picture, and then another couple shorts, and then the cereal, and then you would head home. And again, the cereals and where things you watched that, you'd be going home, but they were sort of the water cooler talk of their day, right? How's this person going to survive, right? And one of the things I don't like this has a couple of times are serial redos, where you have a cliffhanger, and then they say, "Oh, nope, it actually was different in the thing." You probably wouldn't have remembered it then, but today on DVD, home video, watching them on TV, and that's sort of thing too, right? You can see it. And that's sort of the thing. So I don't forget it up well. That's one of the reasons, well, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, all right, but there you go for you folks. And so that is sort of why I like going over these things for you folks, and you can come out too. And so there you are. Also, on Wednesday, I do video game reviews of older video games I just did last week, a couple days ago. I did my top 10 value video games based on cost to how much time you're getting out of it. Sometimes there's just cheaper games like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Deluxe has the first 2 games combined, so you get a lot of value for your money. Or sometimes it's just games that have a low cost, or to how much time you put into it, like Don't Starve. Or sometimes there's something you're going to get thousands of hours from, like Europa Universalis 4. And then some of them are just things that you're going to were cheaper or free games. So you can check out that too. And then on Friday, I do top 10s of other things too. Right now, I just did my top 10 third short stories, so you can check out of all time. And then there's a lot of classics there too. And then also on Monday, I do reviews of older tabletop RPGs, like Dungeons & Dragons or Middle-earth role-playing, or board games like Battletech. So you can check that stuff out. And then older stuff like that. And then I also do things like 3 reviews a week of older things that you read, like books, short stories, and poems, sometimes too, or prose poems. So you can check out that stuff, right? I'll be on the box. So the 7 older things, plus some Let's Plays here and there too, like Star Control 2 from 1992. If those things sound like your cup of tea, then great. Welcome to the channel. Have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here quite a bit, right? And while you're here, please do all the YouTube stuff, like the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon, to be notified of those videos, all that stuff. Likes and share, all that stuff. Just all the YouTube stuff for me, folks. And there you go. As you can tell from those 7 older reviews for you folks and finding these things for you, it's definitely the passion of this channel. It's even where its name comes from. That's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who says that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? Not that the new stuff is bad by default, right? But in the passion for the new experience, the new movie, the new book, the new video game. Right. We have sometimes forgotten that these things are standing on the shoulders of giants, like movie serials that have really influenced us today. And we're the first water cooler talk of the era, right? And check them out and get all that stuff up and down the blocks. We're ready for you, folks. And there you go. And if you made it all the way to the end, I just want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it, right? And watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So the fact you spend this time with me, that's incredibly humbling. And I appreciate that so very, very much. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.